The ethanol industry scores a win in Washington this week. Farmers say trade may be a bigger issue for them than even the new Farm Bill. We'll find out why coming up.
And not all NDSU ag students are farm kids. We'll meet some city slickers planning on a life in ag.
Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. While debate continues on the 2018 Farm Bill in Washington, a majority of farmers say trade is a much bigger issue for them. Last week, a team of negotiators failed to reach an agreement with China to avoid additional retaliatory tariffs and avert a trade war. However, discussions will resume next week with leaders of the two superpowers. At the same time, this week's NAFTA negotiations ended in a stalemate, which could threaten the chances of concluding the deal in mid-May, as U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer had predicted. For months now, the unknowns regarding NAFTA have led to the U.S. losing business with Canada and Mexico. So the hope is the deal is close.
I hope we get it done in May. We need to get it done in May. The Mexican customers are getting real nervous.
The caveat is the toughest issues haven't been dealt with, including Canada's Class 7 milk pricing.
We don't think we're making any significant impact there. And again, it's a policy of supply management that we're going to be continuing to defend.
At the same time, farmers are concerned about the president's tariff schedule. Chief Ag Negotiator Greg Dowd says U.S. agriculture is at the tip of the spear with the $53 billion of initial and retaliatory tariffs.
That's now 82% of U.S. agricultural exports to China and are involved in this trade situation.
U.S. Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue has been reassuring farmers the president has their back, yet he's preparing a trade compensation program, the full details of which are not being disclosed.
There are regular programs for farmers over PLC and ARC and other types of things that could be utilized, but there are also other authorities such as CCC and Section 32 that could be utilized.
However, farmers say they want trade, not aid.
It's really anybody's guess what this might look like. It certainly will not replace getting a good price from the market, which is ultimately what we want to see.
And they, along with lawmakers, are asking the president to move swift to avoid additional tariffs like those imposed on ethanol, pork, and now sorghum. Dowd says the tariffs on China are warranted due to their unfair trading practices and trade imbalance with the U.S. Currently, the U.S. imports $500 billion in goods from China versus the $150 billion they buy from us. The ethanol industry scored a win this week. At a White House meeting with administration officials and key senators, President Trump asked USDA and EPA to re-examine hardship waivers granted to major refiners under the RFS. He also told the EPA administrator to immediately get to work to fix the regulations that will allow E15 to be sold year-round. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst says she hopes the timeline for the administrator lifting the Reed vapor pressure rule is swift.
Well, I think it should happen soon. I don't know how quickly it could. I think if the administrator decided it should happen, it could happen tomorrow. But we really need to stay on them. I think the president has made it clear this is what he wants to see.
President Trump also rejected Texas Senator Ted Cruz's idea of a cap on RINs. However, Cruz offered an alternative proposal to assign RINs to biofuels exports. Now, while ethanol officials say it's against the law to export RINs, the future of this proposal is uncertain. A North Dakota company that's been one of the Upper Great Plains leaders in marketing specialty crops internationally is undergoing some changes after the death of its founder. Harris Peterson started minn-dak Growers more than 50 years ago and ran it right up until his death in January at age 92. Now, as Michael Pates reports from Grand Forks, his son and grandson are stepping in to continue growing the business.
Minn-dak Growers sells upper Midwest specialty crops including buckwheat, mustard, and safflower around the world. Harris Peterson grew the business from scratch into one of the largest processors in the country and an early exporter.
It was a good visionary. He did way ahead of his times.
His son Harold is taking over as president, but he says he'll have some big shoes to fill. His father was even working with doctors at Mayo Clinic at one time on diabetes medicine made from buckwheat.
Harris kept on trying to develop it, but we never got there. You know, it's one of his projects that never got done.
As we're trying to make the purest green and white
Buckwheat is gluten-free and high protein, so they're working to develop the consumer market. Harold's son Jeremy started hanging out at the plant when he was just 5 years old, and he's hoping to keep it as a family business well into the future.
We thought, well, we need to keep it going for generations down that are in our family that might want to keep it going, and it's still a lot of jobs for people, and it's still a good company to keep going. So we decided to keep on going with his dream.
Jim Blair joined the company as general manager last year. He oversees 25 employees in Grand Forks and Dickinson. Blair calls Harris Peterson a true visionary and says he's there to carry on Peterson's legacy.
His pure vision was all about finding value-added agricultural products that his farmer friends and neighbors could grow.
And now the next two generations of Petersons are working to continue that vision. In Grand Forks, this is Mikkel Pates for Ag Week.
Mikkel will have more on this story in the next Ag Week magazine.
Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll hear from some city kids about why they're studying agriculture at NDSU.
Advanced Grain Handling is your regional dealer for grain handler dryers, bins, and accessories. With Grain Handler's continuous mixed flow drying systems, you're capable of high levels of grain dryer efficiency on all types of grain, including seed grain. Advanced Grain Handling also carries West Steel's quality stainless steel products for on-farm and commercial grain storage solutions. Advanced Grain Handling has licensed and trained service techs and a licensed electrical shop. Get a hold of Chad Kylo to find the perfect solution for your farm.
I'm 120, 130, 130, 55, once around the block, 212 pipe right here, now having tons up.
If you're thinking about selling a piece of land, or you're looking to sell some farm equipment, or if you're thinking about a retirement or involved in an estate, give us a call. We'll sit down and tell you all about the Steffes way. We think it's a good way. That's how we approach it. If any of those are in your plans, give us a call or go to steffesgroup.com. Learn all about us. Hope to hear from you.
Superior Grain Equipment offers storage and drying solutions designed for your grain handling needs. Mixed flow grain dryers from Superior offer even heating to reduce heat stress cracking, so you get higher quality grain, higher test weights, and better prices. Plus, they use half the energy of conventional screen dryers. Experience cost savings and superior grain conditioning. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
Get your row crops off to the right start with an Early Riser Case IH planter from Titan Machinery. Case IH Early Riser planters feature high-tech yet rugged planter row units that quickly adapt to the toughest seeding conditions, while leaving an optimal seed bed to promote early, uniform plant emergence. Only Case IH Early Riser planters are designed to leave a flat-bottom seed furrow, ensuring consistent seed depth and even emergence. Contact your local Titan Machinery location today for more information on the next generation of planting technology from Case IH.
It's graduation season, and young people across the country are getting ready to start their careers. We came upon a surprising statistic recently. There are tens of thousands of unfilled jobs in agriculture nationwide. But perhaps even more surprising is the growing number of students who aren't from farm backgrounds studying ag. Rose Dunn has more.
I have gotten a lot of comments like, oh, you're just a little girl, how are you gonna stand up to a big cow?
Rachel Auren grew up in the city, but her heart has always been on her grandparents' farm near Fergus Falls, Minnesota. She has spent some time there over the years, but still, her parents were surprised when she said she wanted to study animal science at NDSU.
I didn't know if I could do it without the experience and background that I know most of my peers would have. I took the Intro to Animal Science class and I fell in love.
Rachel is interested in working with cattle, but doesn't yet know where that will take her.
And that gives a good indicator of how much muscle it would have for your ribeye area.
But Michael Duncan already has a job at Winfield United waiting for him after graduation.
I had no idea the amount of opportunities and the amount of jobs and everything in there.
in agriculture.
Michael is from a Twin Cities suburb. He has no farm background, but he's always loved spending time on a friend's farm, as well as hunting and fishing. So he discovered a career in ag might be the perfect fit.
Knowing that I really wanted to be outdoors and couldn't live my life in the cubicle so much, is that kind of what drew me to ag.
Duncan says his parents were supportive from the start, but some of his friends were surprised.
So you want to be a farmer? I'm like, no, I want to help farmers. I want to help advise them on their farms, help them make decisions on their farms. And so they kind of got it, but not everybody gets it.
Like Michael, Amy Greenberg is from a Twin Cities suburb.
I get a lot of, why are you interested in that?
Although Amy's mom grew up on a farm, she was surprised by Amy's interest in ag. And like Michael and Rachel, Amy felt intimidated at first, being surrounded by students who grew up on farms.
My beginning classes, I had no idea what was going on. We were covering really basic things. I still remember my first crop internship. I was worried to know which field I was going to, whether it was soybean or corn, because I couldn't even tell the difference right away. Then they have the different parental crosses on the bags.
She's come a long way from those early days with a little help from Google.
I have actually a whole page of notes in my notebook of just little terms that I write down in class. And I will either ask someone in confidence later of it that I know won't make fun of me, or I can just Google it.
For Ag Week, this is Rose Dunn.
Many NDSU Ag students name one longtime professor as a major influence. Ed Deckert is a professor of plant science, and he often teaches the students introductory and then final capstone classes just before they graduate. Deckert says the amount of new information that comes out every year is escalating so fast, it's exciting to keep up. So at 74, with nearly 40 years in the department, he has no plans to retire.
This forces you to do new things and to keep up, and that adds to the fun of teaching. I mean, I have fun every year. I can truly say I don't come to work.
Deckert says another thing that keeps it enjoyable is that he co-teaches some classes with his wife Brenda, who is the Director of Student Services for the Plant Science Department. Parts of the region are getting some badly needed rain. Your planting forecast is coming up. But first, we'll have an update on planting progress around the region. Ag Week is excited to bring you the Ag Week app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your Ag Week news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take Ag Week with you wherever you are. Download the Ag Week app today.
Levosol is the most advanced nutrient efficiency solution, making phosphorus, zinc, and other key micronutrients more available to the plant. With 3 modes of action, it unlocks the nutrients in the soil. It makes the nutrients that it's applied with more available, and it is mobile in the plant for season-long activity. For more information, talk with your agronomy partner or visit wcdst.com.
Intelligent farming means more crop from every acre. That starts with smart machines and precision application. Introducing the new Rogator C-Series from Challenger, featuring a newer, smarter, more precise way to apply fertilizers and nutrients, more accurately and more efficiently than ever before, resulting in less overlap and less crop damage, all to make you more productive and more profitable. To find out more, contact Butler Machinery today.
Micro Essentials is a premium phosphate product. It's a dry granular product. The main difference with a Micro Essentials type product is you have a homogeneous granule where the nitrogen, the sulfur, the phosphorus, and in this case the zinc is all in one granule. If you ever have a desire or a need to learn more about what does sulfur do within a soybean plant, what does the potassium do for the corn crop, we have microessentials.com. We also have a great resource, cropnutrition.com.
Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley source for Batco. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley Badco dealer.
USDA's May supply and demand report had a few surprises, especially for the soybean market. This is the first report the agency gives new crop production and ending stocks figures. The trade was keying in on the new corn crop ending stocks with an expected drop to around 1.63 billion bushel. USDA came in at 1.68 billion with production at 14.04 billion. That's down from last year and takes into account lower acreage. The old crop carryout was nearly unchanged at 2.18 billion bushels. USDA left Argentina production unchanged at 33 million metric tons, while Brazil corn production was downgraded 5 million metric tons from April due to the dry conditions this last month. Old crop soybean ending stocks were lower 20 million bushels from April. However, the new crop was a big surprise at only 415 million bushels. That was 125 million under the trade guess, and that's with production of 4.28 billion bushels. With the drought in Argentina, USDA again lowered the production estimate 1 million metric tons, but raised Brazil production to a record large 117 million metric tons. And winter wheat production was projected at 1.19 billion bushel, down from last year's 1.27 billion bushel crop due to the drought in the southern plains. However, all wheat production was up slightly, and new crop ending stocks were as well at 955 million bushels. Old crop ending stocks were set at 1.07 billion bushel. Planting progress picked up significantly this last week. U.S. farmers planted nearly a quarter of the corn crop in a week, and as of May 6th are now 40% done, nearly caught up to average. Iowa and Nebraska also made big gains on the week, while the rest of the 5-state region is lagging, with Minnesota at 9%, North Dakota at 7%, and South Dakota at only 6%. U.S. soybean planting progress is slightly ahead of the norm at 15%, and that trend follows in Iowa and Nebraska, with the rest of the region behind. Farmers planted 20% of the U.S. spring wheat crop in the week ending May 6th. They're now 30% done, which is behind the 51% 5-year pace. South Dakota farmers are half complete, while Minnesota and North Dakota have only about a quarter of the crop seeded. And winter wheat conditions only improved 1% nationally, even with the recent rains. Both Nebraska and South Dakota's good to excellent rating slipped 2%. Will farmers make up any more ground on planting this week? We'll find out with John coming up.
It's the time of the year where the southern part of the United States starts to get essentially summery. It's still fairly cool across the north, still some freezing weather up near Hudson Bay. Under the right scenario, that can create a lot of stormy weather. This time it's not being particularly stormy. We do have some rather mild weather for the end of the weekend and the start of the week in the northern plains. A lot of spots down south are into the 90s now, or at least around 90 degrees. And some of this week in the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle area will likely be up around and over 100 degrees. It's going to be a hot week over the south. A few spots near 90 will even get up into the southern half of Iowa midweek. That will retreat. It won't stay that long forever. And across the northern plains, it'll go back and forth between sort of mild and sort of warm over the next few days. But the really cold weather is lingering up there across the north. Moving on into the second week, it does look like we're going to see that warm weather surge north again, but not really quite ever reach the northern plains. So it's going to be hot down south and just mild to maybe occasionally warm across the north. There will be spots of precipitation from time to time. Little chance of showers passes through the eastern part of North Dakota, western Minnesota Tuesday. Not a lot of widespread heavy rain anywhere. This will be air mass thunderstorms in the south later in the week. And anytime you see southwest flow, there's a chance for showers and thunder showers along that this time of year. But it just doesn't look like there's going to be anything really widespread in terms of rainfall setting up over the next couple of weeks. Signs are pointing toward maybe around the latter part of May, a rain system into the northern plains, but that's of course too far for anything precise. So the heat is building up in the south. It's not that hot across the north, and instead of really stormy, this time the pattern is just hit and miss for rainfall, with some areas staying a little too dry.
Luckin Trucks and Parts sells quality used parts for all makes and models, with over 50 acres of trucks and parts and new inventory arriving daily. Family owned and operated since 1966, Luckins specializes in the sale of quality used medium to heavy-duty truck parts as well as pre-owned trucks, trailers, and construction equipment. If it's on a truck, we got it. Call us today and let us get you your part.
Get ready for the biological revolution. Enhanced by Ag Concepts is a scientifically designed foliar fertilizer formulated to quickly deliver essential nutrients to your crops for the greatest possible yields.
I had a hail incident and I only had maybe beans that were 4 inches tall. I put some Enhance out. That seemed to really bring my beans back. Got 40 bushel beans compared to a 0. That's the best dollar ever spent.
Join the biological revolution with Enhance by Ag Concepts.
At Superior Grain Equipment, we're committed to quality and service, offering you the best in grain storage and dryers for any size operation. Our experts will work with you to determine the most efficient and economical storage solution for your needs. We help protect your bottom line and your future with the industry's best bins and warranties. Make the superior choice for protection today and tomorrow with Superior Grain Equipment.
This is Dennis Belisky reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Total Ag Industries is the leader in total control. The future of ceramic nozzle technology is here today with the Total Ag Air Induction Turbo Nozzle, the only ceramic triple spray nozzle on the market. Works with all sprayers for better weed control and wheel tracks. They could be the last spraying nozzles you'll ever need.
Really impressed with them. It amazes me how they work so well.
Contact Total Ag by phone or visit totalag.com. AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
The world measures and values soybeans on their crude protein content. But in the Dakotas and Minnesota, protein runs lower than in the rest of the Corn Belt and in South American beans. However, essential amino acids, or EAAs, what animal nutritionists use to formulate livestock feed rations, are higher in northern climate beans. And according to farmers and researchers, EAAs are a better way to evaluate soybean quality. Mike Laneseth is on the Northern Soy Marketing Committee, a cooperative effort of soybean councils in the Dakotas and Minnesota. They're working with international buyers to promote the value of essential amino acids in soybeans. Members of the committee recently traveled to Southeast Asia to educate consumers and customers about EAAs and the quality of northern beans.
We want the quality profile that buyers of soybeans around the world are looking for to include the amino acid content, because that's where the value really is. As that value gets recognized more and more, the gap that we're getting between our basis and the basis of Brazilian beans should start to narrow, and that'll be bringing value to soybean producers in the Northern Plains.
Langseth says the biggest challenge is convincing the large international marketers like Cargill and CHS to recognize EAA content. Our crop stop this week takes us to St. Anthony, North Dakota, where they're seeing a shift from corn to soybeans. Spence Koenig works for Direct Ag Supply, a seed, chemical, and fertilizer dealer out of the Mandan area. He travels around southwest North Dakota and says farmers in that area are just getting started with corn and beans, and wheat is about half done. He's seeing a shift from corn to soybeans, but thinks it has more to do with last year's bumper crop than this year's weather. And despite some recent rain, it's still dry there.
I think we're in better conditions this year than we were last year at this time, but it's still, we need some moisture to get everything up and growing. So,
Koenig says it's driest west and south of Bismarck. Still ahead on AgweekTV, a new plant is finding a new use for soy, turning it into fish food.
Big Boy Toys.
Advanced biofuel for America's diesel engines is clean burning and made from renewable sources like soybean oil. Biodiesel fuel works in any diesel engine, reducing emissions, helping us breathe cleaner air. Biodiesel adds value to North Dakota soybeans, creating jobs, improving the environment, increasing our energy independence. Biodiesel, it starts with soybeans, it's fueling America.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
AgWeek is excited to bring you the AgWeek app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your AgWeek news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take AgWeek with you wherever you are. Download the AgWeek app today.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
An exciting value-added project has broken ground in South Dakota. Prairie Aquatech of Volga is a $60 million facility that will turn the region's soybeans into aquaculture feed. At the groundbreaking, CEO Mark Lukey says they partnered with South Dakota soybean processors to commercialize this soybean meal conversion process.
And what you're left with is a microbially enhanced protein, soy protein, that's good for fish because they can digest it better.
Governor Dennis Dugard says with declining fish meal supplies, this product fills a niche and is cheaper.
$1,200, $1,300 a ton as opposed to $1,800 a ton. That means that this market is ripe and ready for this kind of a product.
The initial SDSU research was funded by the South Dakota Soybean Council and United Soybean Board due to the growing global aquaculture market.
So this is a real opportunity for us to be able to feed that market and feed those fish a very high quality product.
The plant will produce 30,000 tons of feed a year. It will be ready to go next spring. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or download the AgWeek app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. See you next week.